any H1B or future H1B holder, let's say you're on OPT right now, these would be first-time cap-exempt H1Bs. Okay, so basically you've never had an H1B before. Future H1B transfers who don't travel.
H1B visa executive order that was passed on Friday. Now we have a lot more clarity because there was an FAQ released and a memo released by USCIS. So Samir and I went live just few minutes ago. It's already on my channel, but I am clipping the presentation part, the first 10 minutes where he explains. Samir is an immigration lawyer, where he explains all of the details in that session for the first 10 minutes. Now, after that, we went for 50 plus minutes on a Q&A. So before you comment on your questions, please watch the Q&A so that way your question might already be answered by somebody else's question and you might already fit in that. But if you still have further questions, put it in the comment section. We are going to probably go live again this upcoming week before Wednesday. Every Wednesday we do live sessions, and I know this upcoming week and following week is going to be crazy and chaotic, and you need a lot more clarity and updates. So please consider subscribing, and we'll keep you posted on anything new that we learn from the government.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So obviously the last couple of days have seen, just unprecedented activity in the H1B arena. On Friday afternoon, right around, close of business, we all found out that there was a presidential proclamation, which in essence kind of boiled down to this. It gave us the impression that any H1B visa holder traveling to the US after 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday morning has to show proof that there was a $100,000 payment that accompanied their petition, which of course led to widespread panic. Identified all our clients. We've had some clients who actually recalled some employees from abroad. We had one employee who was able to get on a flight from India and come into the US by 6 p.m. Eastern Time, just to make sure they got in ahead of what we all perceive to be an H1B travel ban effective to all H1B holders, because that's essentially what the proclamation sounded like. So, of course, the widespread panic is major news, as everybody knows. We can all kind of, speculate as to, what that led to internally within the administration, because then we started getting a series of clarifications, right? The first one coming from the president's press secretary, who was basically saying, you're all crazy. This has been clear. Of course, this doesn't apply to everybody. Those who already have H1B visas and who are outside the US will not be charged $100,000. This only applies to new visas, not renewals, and not current visa holders. And it will first apply in the next upcoming lottery cycle, which begs the question, if it will first apply in the next upcoming lottery cycle, which is beginning in April, why was there a midnight deadline on Sunday? Okay, so we'll just put a pin in that question for a second. Then we got a series of clarifications from various Department of Homeland Security agencies. USCIS released a quick memo to all its officers saying the proclamation only applies prospectively to petitions that have not yet been filed. So petitions that have not yet been filed. That sounds like it's a lot broader than petitions in the next lottery cycle. It sounds like that might include extensions, amendments, etc., for people that currently have H1B status. So clearer than the proclamation, but not totally clear yet. Then we get a tweet or an X post, I'm not exactly sure what you call it, along with the memorandum from CBP, which are the officers of the airport that you'll have to encounter, that says it only applies to new prospective petitions that have not yet been filed. So reading differently, kind of using similar words, but in different orders, it makes it sound like it only applies to H1B petitions for new jobs, i.e. people that have not yet had H1Bs before. Okay. So we're getting a lot of different kind of clarifications, culminating kind of with this feeling that we have a official proclamation that says one thing, an official administrative tweet that says another, and a cabinet official, and we have actually a couple of cabinet officials, agency officers are saying two different things. So obviously the execution has been flawed, not been helpful, caused a lot of confusion. And where are we and where do we go from here? Okay. So based on all of this and kind of understanding where we believe USCIS, CBP, and of course the president are going with this, we can definitively state that the following individuals are not affected by the proclamation. Okay. So anybody who has an H1B right now, whether if you're abroad, okay, if you're abroad with an H1B that has already been approved, okay, regardless of if you have a visa stamp or not, you want to come into the US once you get your stamp. If you're not Canadian, if you're Canadian, you don't need one. You are not affected. If you're an H1B holder in the US right now, you have an approved petition, you're in the US, it doesn't affect you. If you travel in the future on that petition, it doesn't affect you. Any H1B or future H1B holder, let's say you're on OPT right now, okay, but you got an H1B in the 2025 lottery, okay, and you're in the US, it doesn't affect you, even if your H1B hasn't been approved yet. Okay. If you got an H1B or were picked or selected in the lottery, 2025 lottery, and you're abroad and you have to get a stamp and come in, it also does not affect you. Even if your H1B hasn't been approved yet, because we do have some lottery holders or lottery recipients who have not yet had their H1Bs approved. That's okay. Why? Because your H1B petition has already been filed. Okay. Then we can say definitively that these individuals are affected. Okay. These would be first-time cap-exempt H1Bs. Okay, so basically you've never had an H1B before. You're being sponsored by a cap-exempt organization like, let's say, university or nonprofit research organization, and you're abroad, and your petition is going to be filed after today, right? No petitions, well, I guess some petitions can be filed today online, but after this morning at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if your petition was filed and you're abroad for a cap-exempt petition, you are affected. It's a very small sliver of H1B holders that are going to be in this group. But maybe like physicians, researchers, some pretty, pretty people that are pretty important, to our country, right, are going to be affected. Although the numbers may not be that large because they have to be abroad. Okay. And then it was pretty clear that this looks like it was meant to be solely directed towards those that are going to be in the 2026 lottery. Okay. And while the language of the proclamation was not clear at all, and the successive clarifications were also not clear, it seems like this was at least one of the main targets of this new rule. Once again, begging the question, why was there the midnight deadline? Okay. Now, here is the gray area. Okay. And this is going to be a lot of people. We don't understand exactly, based on the conflicting advice that we're getting from the government over the last 2 days, if these individuals are going to be impacted. Okay. So who are we talking about? Future H1B transfers who don't travel. Okay. Well, first of all, it's pretty clear that if you're not going to travel, you're not impacted by this. Okay. It's not a very realistic expectation to place on people, but this is an entry ban, right? Or this conditions entry into the US on a $100,000 payment, right? The president is banking on this travel ban success he had from earlier in this year, where the court said that he has a lot of power to restrict entry into the US. So this is about whether or not you can enter the US, right? So if you don't travel, it doesn't matter if you have another petition filed after today. It doesn't impact you. Okay. But if you do travel, well, we're not clear. We're talking about now, USCIS said this only applies to petitions filed after today. So does that include extensions, transfers, amendments? I don't think so. I think they meant to, restrict this to cap-exempt petitions abroad and 2026 lottery participants. That's what I think. But until we get actual clarification from that, I would not recommend traveling. Okay. If you are getting a transfer approved, filed after today, or a H1B extension filed after today morning. Okay. So anybody who's got transfers, extensions, amendments being filed as of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, I would say do not travel until we get some further clarification, which we should probably be getting in the coming days. So that is basically it.
Now, I know you may have questions even after this presentation. That is why we filmed the live stream where we answered pretty much 50 plus questions. And I believe your question might be in one of those 50 questions. So please go and watch that live stream. I will put the first link in the description. Also, even after this, you need consultation on your specific situation. I'll put Sameer's law firm consultation link in the description. You can mention my name and you can get a discount after that.